So here we are, Councillor. Yes, good. And then I know what he's going to say. Good. I'll announce the council tax premiums. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Item 8, council tax premiums, second homes. I just remind members that have a prejudicial interest that they should leave the chamber, please. Councillor Stephen Bledsoe. You have something to say?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Given the agenda item and my paid employment position of Wales Operations Manager for the National Residential Landlords Association, I'm literally paid to represent the people who will be discussed, so it wouldn't be suitable for me to take part in this discussion. So I'll leave the meeting, and I will ask that one of my group members contact me on my mobile phone to let me know when I can come back in.
Duly noted. Thank you very much. As I say, members of the officers of the Democratic Services will let members know when they can return to the chamber. So I will now ask the Chief Officer of Finance, Performance and Change to present this item.
Many thanks, Mr. Mayor. So the purpose of this report is to provide further information to Council on the planning and regeneration implications of applying a council tax premium to second homes. In February this year, Council agreed to the introduction of council tax premiums on empty properties from April 2023 and on second homes from April 2024. The premiums agreed were 100%, rising to 200% after 2 years. The applications of these premiums has become far more widespread across local authorities in Wales in recent years. And the updated figures in relation to that are shown for you at paragraph 2.6 of the report this evening. When this was approved back in February, Council requested a second report to outline the wider implications of the proposal to apply a premium on second homes. And these are outlined for you today in paragraphs 3.5 to 3.11. Land use planning is a devolved function in Wales, and recent changes have provided further categories within the residential uses area. These changes have been introduced in response to local housing issues in local authorities predominantly in North and West Wales, where holiday lets are severely impacting on the local housing market. Currently, Bridgend has 81 properties which are classed as second homes, and of these, 48 are within the Porthcawl area and 61 are owned by people who live outside the County Borough area. Of the 81 properties, 69 are kept furnished for occasional use. The financial implications of introducing a premium on second homes are outlined for you in section 8 of today's report. So if I may, Mr. Mayor, I would just take you to section 9 of the report, where Council is requested to consider the information provided and make a final determination on the application of council tax premiums on second homes from April 2024. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Could I ask for a mover and seconder, please?
I'm happy to move, Mr. Mayor, and I would just like to say on this report, obviously we had the initial report on this last year in consideration of both this and on empty properties. I think we're all aware, and we've rehearsed this a lot in the Chamber in various different reports, that we still face a significant housing crisis within the borough. And while we do not have a significant number of second homes currently, what I think is important for us to do is to make sure that we're in lockstep with other local authorities across Wales so that we do not encourage more and more housing to be used in this way that ultimately will make massive impacts on our communities and hollow out our town centres. So that's why I support this report. I hope the rest of the council will support me in that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Rees. Good. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Heather. Councillor Amanda Williams.
Thanks very much. Whilst I support this report, I'd just like a little bit of clarity, because since our meeting previously, a resident did get in touch with me and raise something that I think that we hadn't looked at before, where somebody, a member of the public, buys one of these empty properties that's been empty for many, many years and is inhabitable. Obviously, there'll be a lot of work bringing that back into use. And so private individuals are putting all of their money into this to become their new home. In this instance, the resident was having to pay double council tax then, but the house was inhabitable. So I wondered what we can do to protect those individuals in such cases, particularly when we all know that it's very difficult as well to get a builder at the moment, and also if you're going for planning as well, the planning process takes several months. So it's how can we, whilst I agree we need to be charging this, how can we protect those individuals who are trying to do good from having to pay double? Thanks.
I think we did touch on this to a certain extent when we approved when yourselves approved this report around empty properties earlier on in the year, which is that actually there's an increasing number of grants available to people in order to assist them in being able to upgrade their homes or their properties and bring them back into use. I can certainly, Councillor Williams, make sure that we send the details of those grants out, so that if you are aware of residents in the area who would benefit from that, then by all means share that information, because it is available on our website. I hope that answers your question.
Councillor Jonathan Pratt, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, yes, second homes. So we do only have 81 properties in Bridgend County Borough Council that would act to this one. Having a second home doesn't necessarily make you a rich person. I've spoken to a resident in my ward. They've inherited a home from a past family member. They've decided to keep that home for visiting purposes in the area, to have nice family memories and short holidays. They are concerned that this premium will force them into selling. I suppose on your political view, whether that would be a positive thing or not, but that's my view from a resident. My second one is for those who can afford second homes. Is this increase really going to hit them in the pocket? It's a genuine question. It's, if you can afford a second home, I can't. They can afford to furnish a second home. They can afford to travel to their second home. They can afford to enjoy themselves in their second home. Will the council tax premium really stop them from purchasing a second home? Because in the grand scheme of things, if you can afford to operate a second home, the council tax premium is probably not so. You may well just shrug your shoulders at it and go, oh well, that's the cost of having a second home. So it is interesting. What does this council want? What is the sorry, I'm trying to get my words out. What's the end game here? Are we trying to stop people from buying second homes, and this is the tool we're using, or is it just a case of a revenue gain? because you have a second home.
Councillor,
That's where we're going. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Pratt, for the question. I think on your resident firstly, I think, what should be remembered is, of course, having a second home is a privilege. And, while I completely understand that in some of these cases, there will be a lot of emotion tied up in that, nonetheless, we are in a situation across this country where people simply cannot get one room to themselves, let alone a home or a second home. And I think, that almost comes to the second point. So, yes, I'm sure for many people buying second homes, and as we see the transformation of Porthcawl over the next few years, I think that is something we need to be really alive to. Of what I don't want to see is that this borough does a huge amount of work, developers do a huge amount of work, town councils do a huge amount of work in redeveloping those towns and making them vibrant places to live, to only discover that actually for 6 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year, 8 months out of the year, there's no one there. And I think that's really important we vote against this. Now, I wouldn't want to discourage people from buying second homes, and if they can afford to buy second homes, then I hope they do buy second homes if that's what they want to do. But the point of this is ensuring that we maybe make people think about that, and also we make sure that there is some recompense for us providing services where we will have to provide more homelessness services, but we will have to provide more RSL services to make sure that we can cover those costs of having those properties potentially sitting empty for several months. I hope that answers the question.
Councillor Mark John.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick point on the extra revenue that's going to be collected on second homes, or empty properties, I think you want to call it as well. Would we be looking to collect revenue on empty businesses in the ward as well? Thank you, Chair. Empty buildings, I mean, as businesses in Bridgend, which are owned. Thank you.
I think that will depend on whether we know who the owner is. If they've moved on, for instance, and the property is just not in use. There is a slight difference in relation to this. The council tax that we collect on behalf of residential properties comes in directly to this local authority. The business rates that we collect, actually, we're a collecting organisation on behalf of Welsh Government. So we collect that money, pay it into Welsh Government, and then we get a payment out depending on the size of our adult population. So they are slightly different in that we won't necessarily see the direct benefit in the way that we will in relation to residential taxes.
Thank you. Councillor Robert Smith.
Thank you, Chair. So we've established that best case scenario is 188,000 as far as revenue is concerned, as things stand, and I appreciate the need to consider the future. Do we have any estimates to the costs associated with enforcing that?
We can absorb that within the council tax team that we have at the moment. So I wouldn't anticipate saying to you that I'm going to have to employ more staff in order to manage this. There may be some additional costs depending on non-payment, whether or not we start incurring costs around court summonses, as we do with our other properties. But if we are whatever money that we collect will come in as additional income to the council, and I don't see us having to increase our costs significantly at all in order to collect that money.
Okay, thank you. If there are no more questions, I will. Can I ask for the? Oh, sorry. Can I take members to the recommendation and ask if they are all in favour?
No, sorry, Mr. Mayor. Just I don't need a recorded vote. I will vote against it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You don't want to vote. You just.
Well, I don't mind. I don't really want to drag it going one by one, unless I have to. I think I will be the one objector, but it's up to your good self, Mr. Mayor, if you want to go through member by member. But I will be voting no.
So you just wanted noted that you.
Yes, that's fine.
Is that? Yep. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also vote no. Thank you.
Okay. We have to go for. In that case, we will need to go for a recorded vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the purposes of the recording, my name is Laura Griffiths, Group Manager of Legal and Democratic Services. So we'll move now to a vote. and Democratic Services Officer Rachel Keepins. She will read out your name in turn, and if you could give your vote, please. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to mark off the ones. So if I can go member by member and you go for, against, them or against the actual recommendation, please. Many thanks. Councillor Heidi Bennett.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Anthony Barrow. Councillor Freya Bledsoe. Okay, I'll come back. Councillor John Paul Blundell.
For the recommendation. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Councillor Eugene Caparos.
For the recommendation, please.
Thank you. Councillor Richard Collins.
For the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Hugh David.
For, please.
Councillor Colin Davis.
For, please.
Councillor Paul Davis.
For the recommendation.
Councillor Stephen Easterbrook.
Yeah.
Councillor Easterbrook.
For.
Oh, thank you. Councillor Melanie Evans.
For the recommendation, please.
Councillor Neil O'Farr.
For, please.
Thank you. Councillor Paula Ford.
For, please.
Councillor Jane Gebby.
For, please, Rachel.
Councillor Rhys Good.
For, please.
Councillor Richard Granville.
For, please.
Thank you. Councillor Heather Griffiths.
For the recommendation, please.
Thank you. Councillor Dave Harrison. Oh, sorry, he's actually, yeah, he's left the meeting on this item. Councillor Della Hughes. No. Councillor Martin Hughes.
For the recommendation, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Phil Jenkins.
I'll abstain on this. I'm unsure at the moment. I haven't made my mind up yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mark John.
Against?
Councillor Martin Jones.
For the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Kern.
For the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor William Kendall.
For the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Maxine Lewis.
For.
Councillor Joanna Llewellyn Hopkins.
For the recommendation, please.
Thank you. Councillor Jonathan Pratt.
Against the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Ellie Richards. No. Councillor Rob Smith.
I'll abstain.
Thank you. Councillor John Spanswick.
For the recommendation.
Councillor Ian Spiller.
I'll abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Ross Thomas.
For, please.
Councillor Jeff Tilsley. Thank you. I think Councillor Tilsley's left the meeting. Councillor Alan Wathen.
Yes, against the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Alex Williams. Oh, he's left this item. Apologies. Councillor Amanda Williams.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Ian Williams.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Martin Williams.
Abstain.
Councillor Howell Williams. He's left as well. Thank you. Councillor Richard Williams.
For the recommendation, Rachel.
Councillor Elaine Winstanley.
For the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just go back and check whether anyone who maybe didn't get their vote because they weren't available at the time is now available? I've got Councillor Freya Bledsoe, please. No, still not. Councillor Della Hughes.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't turn my mic on. I'm for, please. Thank you.
And I think there was one more. Councillor Ellie Richards. No. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's carried. Thank you.
So that motion is carried. Thank you. That brings us on to item 9. No, item 9, that has been deferred. So item 10, appointment of registered representatives to the overview and scrutiny subject committees. I will now ask Group Manager, Legal and Democratic Services to present this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the purposes of this report, members, is to seek council's approval for the appointment of 2 individuals. They are named in the report, and that is to seek their appointment as registered representatives for education items that are obviously considered by the Subject Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and we're seeking their appointment for a maximum of 4 years. That's the term of the appointment. The term of office of the previous Church in Wales registered representative has come to an end. We've sought a new nomination, and that is Miss Angela Clark. She's therefore been nominated to serve as the Church in Wales registered representative. And following an election held in accordance with the regulations, Samantha Rachel Lambert Morgan has been nominated to serve as the Special School Parent Governor Representative. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll take you to the recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask for a mover and a seconder for the report, please?
I move, Chair.
Thank you. Have we any questions? No. Can I take members to the recommendation and ask them if they are all in favour? Thank you. Got it. Item 11, information report for noting. I will now ask the Group Manager, Legal and Democratic Services to present this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So members, this is your usual report. It's just to inform you of an information report that has been published since the last meeting of Council. You have that in your pack. It's regarding 2 urgent delegated decisions that were made, one in relation to a Scheme A 1.1 and one in relation to a Scheme B1 2.2. So again, I just take you to the recommendation, members, which is just to acknowledge the publication of that report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Can I now ask for a mover and a seconder for the report, please?
I move, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Councillor Robert Smith.
Yeah, thank you. It's in relation to the previous agenda item. I actually know one of those individuals personally, so I should have declared an interest.
But we've already dealt with the report now, Councillor Smith, so I'm sorry, that recommendation is now passed.
Thank you. Can I take members to the recommendation and ask if they're all in favour? Aye. No dissent. Thank you. Carried. Item number 12. There is no item number 12. As I have received no urgent business, I will now close the meeting and thank members and officers for their attendance today. Safe journey home for those attending the meeting from the civic offices. Do we need...
Only if, with your permission,
yes,
Mr. Mayor, I ask members if they could stay behind so we can brief colleagues on the latest position with regards to the indoor market, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I propose another comfort break then for 10 minutes, and then the next